Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. So today is Friday, June the 2nd, and you know what that means. It's budget time. So we get paid the last working day of the month, which for us was May 31st. And it brings up a very interesting fact for me. Most of you know that I am a school teacher. I teach high school, and I am what's considered a 10-month employee. So I get paid August through May. And after May, I won't have a paycheck for June and July because I don't technically work in June and July. So a lot of people would say, well, how do you make your ends meet, or how do you meet your bills? Well, every month for 10 months, my bank pulls out a certain amount of money. And for 10 months, they collect that amount, and then they split it in half, and they give me, put back in my checking account as a direct deposit, half in June and half in July. It's the only way that I can make it without having to get a second job or work in the summer. Because in the summer, I am totally, strictly 100% a stay-at-home mom. And I feel like I owe that to my children. You know, do you owe your children? I really do. Being a single parent, we don't get to do a lot of things during the school year because I'm working. I totally dedicate summers to family time. And I've done that for years and years. I used to work when I was married in the summer, but there was always another parent at home. Either I was working or my husband was working. But now, being a single mom, I try to stay home with my kids during the summer months, and we do fun things that we can find free in our community or free in the next town over, and or things we can do with our church family. So we are always trying to find things that fit into our summer budget, which is drastically reduced from our school year budget. So anyway, let's get into the budget and see how the numbers are lining up for this month. So last month, for the months of April and May, I had some discretionary income. I had, my supplement was in April. For April, I had discretionary income. I didn't have any discretionary income in May. So in April, I had my supplement, which we get twice a year. So it's split up once in October and once in April. So that money came in. So since I get paid at the end of the month, I'm planning for the next month. So at the end of April, I got my supplement, which ended up being about $1,200 more. That is what I used for the month of May. Going into the month of June, there is no discretionary income, and it is going to be extremely tight for us. And I say that because we've had some unexpected things, or we're going to have some things we don't normally budget for. And also, you guys, if you watch my Tuesday talk that I just posted this week, 2 weeks ago, my flash drive, my external hard drive that I've been using for years and years, 5-6 years plus, crashed. And it didn't dawn on me until I was helping somebody else with their budget, realize every budget sheet I have saved for the last 6 years was on my external hard drive. And I could not retrieve it. None of my files can be retrieved. Me retrieving them. I can pay for somebody to retrieve it, but that retrieval is like $600, and I'm just not paying that to retrieve those files. It is not in my budget, nor am I going to worry. So what I did have was, because I had sent the budget sheet to some of you all who had asked, I had to go back into my email and download the sheet from where I had sent it to some subscribers who had asked me. And so I have totally had to start all the way over. 6 years after I started, y'all, I was using that same sheet for the last 6 years. So it was indeed a learning curve, but no worries. I have my sheet done. I've got everything filled out. It looks a little different than what it used to, but this still works. And I'm just going to go down and tell you all of my budget categories and let you know what I have. So this is my June budget. This is my budget for June the 1st through the 30th, 2017. My expenses or my budgeted items did not change. I have charitable gifts, which is 10 to 15% of my income. I've got savings, 5 to 10% of my income. I have housing, 25 to 35% of my income. Utilities, 5 to 10% of my income. Food is 5 to 15% of my income. Transportation is 10 to 15% of the income. Clothing is 2 to 7%. Medical is 5 to 10%. Personal is 5 to 10%. Recreation is 5 to 10%, and my debts are 5 to 10%. So if you're joining me for the first time, you may not know this, and those of you who have been following my debt journey or my budgeting journey for a while now know I follow the Dave Ramsey zero-based budget, and this budget that I do every month is based on Dave Ramsey's formula that we zero everything out. We account for every dollar that we make. I have two columns. I have the budgeted column, which is the first column, and then I have the actual spent column, which I fill in when I actually pay my bills. So the budgeted column is based on the previous month's bills. So I had printed out a spreadsheet for May. So my bills, or my budgeted, is based on last month's bills. And then when I actually get my new bills in for this month, it's like, oh, okay, this is what I actually paid. This is what I think I'm going to pay, the budgeted. And this is what it's actually going to cost me. So my check this month, and I get paid once a month for those of you who do not know, $2,740.73. So that was my payroll. I did get a deposit for the kids for $258. So that gave us a grand total of $2,998.73. I take that amount, $2,998.73, and then I budget all of my money out. So for my tithe and offering, was $478, and that was based off of my payroll and 10% of what I get. 10% of every dollar that comes in this house, I don't care where the source is, 10% of every dollar that comes into this house gets tithed on. So far we've returned to the church $478. Now I tithe off of my gross income, not my net income. So a lot of people say, you only had $2,700. Why did you tithe $478? Because I tithe off of my gross, not the net. That's my personal choice. That's what I've always done. It's what I was raised doing, and that's just what I'm going to continue to do. However you handle charitable contributions is how you handle it. I just know that as we do it this way, God always provides what we need. I never have a worry. So $478 in tithe and offering. We partner with another ministry. So for that ministry, we give $30 a month. Really wish we could give more, but that's what we give. We're tight this month, so I did not allocate any savings. With monies I had last month, because I got my supplement, I was able to put money into my savings account to make us, to fill up our emergency fund, which is $2,000. That's what Dave Ramsey recommends you have, is $2,000 if you're a married couple. He says, I think it's $500 to $1,000 if you're single, but I like to do that $2,000 just in case anything happens. My housing expense. So let me say this. My total tithe and offering is $508. That is 18.54% of my income. Dave Ramsey says your charitable gifts should be between 10 and 15%. So I am good where we are with that number. My housing should be about 25 to 35% of my income, and it's a little bit more this month. It's 32.84%. And here's why. My mortgage is $874.02. I pay my lawn guy. I have a little fella that comes and cuts my grass twice a month. That's $50. This month we needed a pest inspection. Now when we moved here to this house, they had hired someone to come out and do a pest inspection for the first 3 months. Well, after that 3 months was over, that they did not come back. And I had been trying to get another person who was more local to our area and was a referral. to come out and spray the house, and he just never did. So because the length of time was so long between when it was sprayed last till now, they just had to do a general spray. They sprayed inside and they sprayed outside, which is good because it's starting to get warm and little outside bugs and things are trying to, you know, they're waking up and wanting to come into the house. So that's going to cost me $125. So they came and sprayed on Monday. No, they came and sprayed on Tuesday. But they have only billed me. They're going to bill me. But I knew, talking to the lady when I made the appointment, that it was going to be $125. So I had allocated funds to pay for that. My insurance for my cell phone is $7.99. I still don't know why I have insurance for cell phone under housing. I'm going to move that category, but it's $7.99. So that put me at $1,057.01, which is 32.89% of my income. Last month, I was able to do the $874.02, plus I paid an additional $25.98 as an additional principal payment. I want to continue to do that. So this month, I paid an additional $25.98 towards my mortgage principal. And I was happy doing that. If I've started something, I'm trying to continue that because I really want to get that debt paid off. Now, Dave says pay off the smallest debt first, which is my student loan. I could have, and I maybe should have, put that $25.98 towards my student loan and really just try to chunk that before I start chunking on the house. But it just made me feel better to know that I paid an even $900. Okay, utilities between 5 and 10%. So my utilities was $78.63 for the month. Paid that. My phone bill is $106. I have not paid that yet. That's not due until the 11th. My cable bill is $69.22. I do need to call and pay that. I forgot. And my water bill is $72.28, and that is already paid. I paid my mortgage online. I was just thinking, Shakema, did you pay your mortgage? I paid it online. Yes, I did. And I have my confirmation number. I always take the time beside the item that I paid to write in my confirmation number. And I learned that because one time I had paid my rent. I was living in an apartment at that time, and I got an eviction notice on my door. So I was like, wait a minute, something is not right with this. So I called the office and I said, I'm not sure what's going on here, but I have an eviction notice. They said, well, you haven't paid your rent. I said, yes, ma'am, I have. And she's like, well, do you have your confirmation number? I said, yes, ma'am, I do. So I gave her the number. And what happened was the system where we called in to pay it over the phone had been down that day. So it never booted to their system for everybody that paid on that one specific day that we had paid. And she said, Shakema, I knew that wasn't right because that wasn't like you, but that's what the system was saying. So when I went back and I had my confirmation number, she was able to go back into their system and find it. But it did not automatically upload because something was wrong with the system just that one particular day. And it was the very first time that I'd ever gone online to pay my rent. I'd always written checks before. I was like, I don't trust this online stuff. And I was so upset with myself. See, if you had just wrote that check, it wouldn't have been no problem. But it turned out okay. She knew I had paid. They found the records of it. So if you get confirmation numbers, write those down because you never know if you're going to face a situation like I did. Moving forward. Okay, so I've paid my electric bill and I've also paid my water bill. So what I did, let me show you this, right? So here's my budgeted column, right here. And here's another column. And I've been using it just as a blank column. Hadn't even thought anything about it. Well, I put an X there to mark it paid. An X that says paid. I guess you could do a P that says paid. And then right here, where I have like a number and I did something already, I just put what I did already in the next box over because there are no formulas in that box. And it's just a reference for my mind. This is the first month that I'm trying this, putting different things in. So I'm going to see how it works. So all in total, my utilities was $326.13, which is 5.51% of my income. And we're within our 5 to 10%. My food budget. Now, I'm going to be very real here. I have fed my children for the majority of the last 8 years on anything between $25 as high as $65 a week. And sometimes I've had to go over that, just depending on the week. I get very sensitive about food because I remember a time when I couldn't decide whether I was going to pay a bill or buy food for my kids. Now I'm in a better situation, but my mindset has not really changed, because I'm always thinking, well, if I have extra bills, I can always take it out of the food budget, because I know how to coupon. And because I can coupon, I'm always going to be able to find something for us to eat. It may not be the healthiest. It may not be what somebody else would pick, but I can find some coupons and I can find me a deal and get us cheap or free food items. What I'm realizing, and have realized definitely last month and the month before some, is doing Weight Watchers. It is a little more expensive, which puts me in a dilemma because I really can't afford more in my grocery budget. But I need more in the grocery budget. So where do you find that? And that's one of those things where I'm having to now figure out what I need to do for my grocery budget. So I said all that to say, normally my grocery budget is $160. Because I had discretionary income last month, I moved it to $250. And this month I left it at $250. So I needed to do a grocery run yesterday. I needed to do a grocery run Wednesday. And I spent $73, which was over the budget that I normally spend. So that left me with $177. So in order to have groceries for the next couple weeks, I took $12 out of that and put it with this week's. So this week's groceries were $85 budgeted. For the next 3 weeks, I budgeted $55. No, $55. $55. And the last week, I didn't budget any money for groceries. We're going to be doing some traveling and we'll be in and out of the house. So we may not need any groceries, or we may just do a pantry challenge that week. Or if Dad sends money, then we'll get more groceries at the end of the month. For the next 3 weeks, we have grocery money, $55. So I've allocated that. And I went to the bank yesterday and I got cash out for groceries and I got cash out for the lawn care. So I always make a note, and I didn't make one on this new sheet, but I'm making it now, of whatever is a cash category, because I use cash envelopes. And so if it's a cash category, what I did was I just went in and put a little dot beside that line item, and I know that I need to get cash out for that. So groceries is $250, no restaurant or fast food. But today I had to take Gracie to get her bath, and I didn't pack a snack, and it was going to be 3 hours between the time that I was going to have to drop her off and wait for her. So what I did was I just went to Target, because I was just trying to walk around to find something to do for 3 hours. So I went to Target and I got a banana, I got some hummus and pretzels, and I got some pickles, and I just had a little snack, but I did have to purchase that with some cash. So I did that today. Transportation, car payment. I do not have a car payment. My car is paid off. Gas, I have $24 for 5 weeks, because I counted in this final week with these last 3 or 4 days of May going into June. $24 for 5 weeks is $120, which is what I normally would budget for transportation. Clothing, no clothing budget for this month, unless we get some additional monies from some other place. Out of what I make, there's no additional monies. Medical and health, I did. For medical and health, I budgeted in. Now, this is where some of the tightness comes in. I have to have an MRI done on my knee. I injured my knee a couple weeks ago, probably about 6 to 8 weeks ago. I injured my knee, and it is not getting any better. So my doctor said, okay, let's schedule the MRI. So I'm like, okay, fine. We scheduled before we could schedule the MRI, the lady calls me. She says, you have not met your deductible, and your deductible is $1,032. So that's a good thing and a bad thing. It's bad because I have to come out of pocket with $1,032 for the MRI for my knee. it's a good thing because that means I have not been sick. I've been very well. Other than just some regular blood work and making sure my blood pressure has been good, I've not been to the doctor. So that's a beautiful situation. She did tell me that they would give me a payment plan and I could do some up front and then pay on it as I can. So I'm going to take $210 over with me to the MRI, and I'm having that done on Monday. So that's where I'm not having clothing budget or, eating out or gifts or anything, because I had to find that money because I have to pay that up front. I have supplemental insurance, which will kick in as soon as I have the MRI. I'll call my insurance, file a claim, and within 5 to 7 days, they'll send me $500, of which $50 I will pay tithe on. Yes, I will. And the other $450 I will send to the MRI, which will be close to $660 paid, and then it'll just be the remaining, and then I'll just make payments over the next month, probably $100 a month or something like that. So that's gonna cut into somewhere where I was trying to pay off that student loan, but at least I know there'll be some monies in there to pay it, or whatever I can pay. They'll take whatever I can pay. I did also have an x-ray, and so I have a little bit of a bill from the x-ray. It was $152. I haven't paid anything on that yet because I just got it in the mail this past week. So I have to work that out as well. I did not allocate it for anything in this budget because I just got it last week. Also, Jackson has been having a lot of issues here in his nasal cavity. He's backed up here. Now his ears are backed up. He's been like this for about 5 weeks. So I called doctor yesterday because we were going to send him over to allergists. And I said, he's just not getting any better. She said, well, wait a week, call me back. So I called yesterday. I said, he's just not getting any better. She says, we'll bring him in today. So I got off work half a day this morning, took him in, and he's, congested here. He's got fluid here, and then he has fluid behind the ears. We've already had 2 sets of ear tubes. So that's not something we want to do again. Saying all that, we had a copay for the doctor, and then we also had medications, which I did not account for. So $10 copay for the doctor was Jackson's, and plus probably another $20 for medicine. I'm sure it was less than that, but that was $30 that I didn't expect to have to come out of pocket with. So right now we're sitting at $240 for medical, which that just wasn't an expense we had. It just wasn't an expense we had expected. Moving over to personal items, and I probably need to move this under medical, but I'm not sure why it's there. Healthways is the portion of my health insurance that pays for my gym membership. That's $25. I do that every month. It allows me to go to any gym that's in my Healthways network, and I've been going to the gym 3 days a week, working out with a personal trainer just to get my body healthy. I'm still sporting the curly girl because there's been no hair care money, so I've not got my hair done, but I have just washed it in the morning, and I just put a little leave-in conditioner and it's fine, and I just go on about my business. Alana has not had her hair done either because we didn't have money for that, but if Dad sends money within the next couple weeks, we'll take her to get her hair done. Until then, I'll be washing hair tonight. Probably need a video on that. For little Miss Grace, of course, when we got the puppy, we knew there were going to be some expenses that came along with the puppy. So for this month, we had food. Last month, she got spayed, and we did it last month because, again, I got my supplemental money, and so there was money there to pay for the spay. We go to a really good vet that is reasonable, and even with her medications, her antibiotic, and her pain meds, and the spay, we only paid $150. So, I mean, that was a phenomenal deal for us. So this month, we had food. Today, she went and got a bath, and then we got her new chew toy. So I budgeted in $75 for that, and we have spent $87. So I'm over by $12. And the reason is because we got her nails ground, but I paid for them to grind her nails. They did not grind them, and I didn't see that until we were already halfway home. So I called back, and they told me to bring her back in tomorrow, and they would grind her nails because I didn't want to pay $12.99 and she not have what we paid for. So, and they bathe her as a lab, so it's a little bit more expensive. Now, I could bathe her at home for a little bit less, but they express her anal glands, they cut her nails, you know, they do all of that. We do it about once a month, once every 6 weeks, and most times Trandon pays for it, my son. But this time I just went ahead and paid for it. It was no problem. I don't have any home improvement budget for this month. I'm going to be doing some stuff in the house, but I'm going to shop the house. No supplements. I bought supplements last month. No household supplies. Taekwondo is $325, and that's for 2 kids and 1 mom. So I went ahead and paid that. Normally what I try to do is wait, you know, if Dad sends money, then I can recoup some of that somewhere. Especially if they have like tournaments and different things. We don't have any tournaments for this month. I think we have camp in July. So for 2 kids to go to camp, it's going to be quite an expense. So of course, if we get money from Dad, I'll use some of that as far as taking care of that, because we'll have a drastically lower income in July. Pure Flix is something we pay for at $7.99. And then recreation, we don't have any entertainment or vacational trips. I do have a trip planned to California. That's a work trip, so I'm not budgeting anything for that right now. I'm just going to wait. I'm going for another coworker, so I'm not sure if that organization is going to give travel money or whatever. All my expenses are paid. My flight, my room, all that's prepaid. But as far as meals and different things, I'm not sure if the other organization is going to prepay that ahead, or if I'm just going to have to pay, you know, get reimbursed when I get back. But that's not for a couple weeks, so I'm not worrying about it. My student loan. Last time I updated you guys, I owed $8,500 and some change. I'm now at $84,36.37, so it is coming down. Whoop, whoop. I am allocating $60. My normal payment is $52.29. But I am allocating $60, which is an extra $7 and some change, to bump me up. So all in total, I have budgeted in for $2,998.73. And that's where it is in all of my budgeted category. Now, when I go to the bank, I go for my cash specifically. So I say, okay, what are my cash categories? This month I had groceries for $177 because I already went to the grocery store on Wednesday and I just used my debit card. Normally I don't, but I didn't get a chance to go to the bank until Thursday. So it just put me off, but we needed to get stuff. So I needed $177, and then I have my long guys. So I write down my denominations that I want them to give me at the bank, and my bank people do that for me just fine. So this time, because I have $55 allocated for groceries for 3 weeks, I don't have anything allocated for the 4th week. I'll worry about the 4th week when the 4th week gets here. I'm just going to probably shop my pantry and my freezer. We'll see, because I'll shop for the next 3 weeks. So we'll have plenty to get us through. But I did not budget money for the 4th week. And here's the thing, right? So I allocated money for the next 3 weeks. I already spent this week's grocery budget, and Super Doubles is coming up on Sunday. I had zero clue that they were going to do a 3-day blitz. We just did a 3-day blitz in April. I'm like, what? Oh my gosh. So I am going to shop the sales. I'm going to see what's online, see what's available, see if there's anything that's free. And if there is, I'll try to do some of the free items, because I just don't want to fudge too much with my weekly groceries, because we are getting ready to be out of school for the summer. And of course, that means we just eat more, because I cook 3 times a day when I'm home in this house during the summer. The kids get breakfast, lunch, and dinner that I cook. So I'm not real sure about Super Doubles. I do want to go, but I don't want to have to try to pull too much from too many places in the grocery budget. So I asked for 3 50s, 3 5s, which is $55 for each week, 1 10 and 2 1s, which is the extra $12 that made $85 for this week, and that totaled out to $177. For my lawn guy, I got 2 20s out and 2 5s, which is $50 for the month. So I went to the bank, got my envelopes, got my cash out, and I simply just asked my bank person for a couple extra envelopes. They have no problem giving those to me. And then I also have these cards that I use that are just like budgeted items like groceries and then blow money and miscellaneous. And this stays in the back of my wallet. And then I will put any cash I have behind the respective tab divider in my purse. So this time I only have the long guy, and I'm just going to do 1 week because today, like I said, I had to take Gracie, and then I had to get some stuff at Target, and then I had to take Jackson to the doctor, and we weren't sure that we were going to need, that was not a budgeted thing. So I had to pull some cash out to just do some things I needed to do. So I have groceries. I'm calling it week 1. Whenever you have that 5th week or that oddball week in a month, it messes up stuff. So May was my oddball month. So I've got groceries weeks 1, 2, and 3. Groceries 1, groceries 2, groceries 3. And then for my long guy. And then I'm just going to pull out the cash that I have. I really like having extra cash just for like thrifting and clothes shopping and stuff, but it just wasn't in the budget this time, and you know I had to be okay with that. It is going to be okay. So here's all my cash for my envelopes. I try to use cash envelopes whenever I possibly can. I've been doing Dave Ramsey now since 2011. So that's 1 week of groceries, 2 weeks of groceries, 3 weeks of groceries, and the lawn guy for 1 week, which is only going to leave me $7. So I still have to figure out the lawn guy for another week, and then groceries for the end of the month. But I'm not going to worry about it. It's all going to work out. I'm absolutely positive. Dad's going to come through, and there'll be extra grocery money. So I'm going to shove in $55 into this one for groceries for next week. I'm going to do $55 into this envelope for the second week. And I'm going to do $55 into this envelope for the third week. Here's $25 for the long guy. And it's one of the little, high school guys. He's leaving to go to college in August. He's been cutting my grass for about a year now, and he does a good job, so I don't mind. And I've got a pretty big yard. It's one of the things about this house. The yard is huge. So these are the envelopes that I have. 3 grocery envelopes, 1 lawn envelope. And then that left me with $7. And this actually came out of the second week of the lawn guy. But with those couple of unexpected things I had to pay for today, I had to use, was at $18 out of the $25 that I had in my purse. So I'm just going to shove this in here, and I'll figure out the long guy, because I've got some money. I've got money in my emergency fund if I need to have money. And then there was just some change here, so we'll probably put that in the change bucket, but for right now it's going to go in my wallet, and then I'll have the kids put the change in the change bucket. So anywho, that's our budget for the month of June. If you have any questions about the budget, just leave us a comment. If you like this video or these types of videos, if you'll give us a thumbs up, that just lets me know, hey, I like this video. And if you're new here, if you hit the subscribe button, we'd love to keep you around as a part of our YouTube family. If you want help with your budget, or if there are questions that you have just about setting up a budget, just leave me a comment, send me a message on my Gmail, and I'll have that email address linked in the description below. We are thankful to have you in our channel. We're thankful that the Lord gives us what we need in order to move and live and do what he wants us to do. A lot of times when I'm going through my budget, what I realize is we can do, the kids and I can do without so many things. We think we need this, or we need that, or I need to thrift this month, or I need to buy clothes this month. I really don't. We have all that we need, and what we don't have, God will provide, or he'll make a way for us to not need it. And so I've been thankful for that, and especially on tight months, when I've had more previous months and then it's a little bit tighter, it's like, okay, Lord, I'm trusting and depending on you for every single thing. And it's not like I didn't trust and depend on him for every single thing previous to that, because I have, but it just that I don't have to lean as much on him when there's more. But Paul says, I've learned to be content in whatever season that I'm in. I learn how to be abased, and I learn how to be abound. I'm good in plenty, and I'm good when I don't have plenty, when I'm in lack. We don't have any lack. So let me be clear. There is no lack in this home. We have what we need, and we are thankful for what we need. It's going to be a little tight. We'll just have to shop the pantry and shop, I'm a couponer. We got more stuff out there in that garage, and I'll just have to be careful with my Weight Watcher points, but it'll be okay. The kids and I will be okay. They're going to be doing some visits in and out this summer anyway, so it's going to be good. We don't have to eat out. We can meet friends and meet after lunch. If they say, hey, we're going to Chick-fil-A, can we meet you somewhere after lunch? Because I don't have the funds to go and buy Chick-fil-A. So we'll eat home, and then we'll meet them somewhere. And that works. It's worked for us all these years. They want to, go to something. Hey, they're having a movie in the park on Friday night. If you want to go, meet us, pack your picnic basket. And we do that, and we're okay with that. So please never think that we are in lack, because we're not. We are just so good because God is our provider. And that's what I always want you to know, that I give Jesus the glory and honor in everything that we have and things that we don't have. It is okay. It's okay. So anyway, thank you so much for stopping by our channel. We're honored to have you. If you have any questions, again, leave us a comment. We do love to answer all your questions. If you want a copy of the budget sheet, just give us a comment. Remember, it is for personal use only. It does not belong to me. It belongs to some friends of mine that have allowed me graciously to share it with other people, as long as they use it for personal use and not share it with anyone else. So anyway, thank you so much for stopping by our channel. And until the next time we do our budget, bye.